At the end of all this, we are going to write a report as a committee. Can you perhaps help us in getting some report from the committee that you advised technically? Yes. In the energy that you chaired one time, so that we can be able to really get some flesh in assisting this country to reduce power. That is what I actually wanted, so that you can assist us to get some information on the technical report or information that you give to the Minister of Energy then when you are chairing that technical committee. Because the bottom line is we want to ease the burden to the members of the society, which is they are really crying, including myself. The power is very expensive. So please assist.
Madam, I'll assist where.
Thank you, Osman, for yielding, Mheshimiwa Osman. Just a quick one. The organizations that we've indicated here from the 12 that you have, their cost of electricity seems to be, the cost of electricity that you sell to KPLC, your cost seems to be lower than the other IPPs. That is, you have 6 cents and you have 8 cents of the dollar, 8 cents of the dollar and 6 cents of the dollar. The question is, my question to you is, what advice or what suggestion can you give that, or rather what recommendation would you give that what should we do as a country so that we are able to produce power cheaply and eventually get cheaper power to the local mwananchi and to the local manufacturing companies, please?
I would strongly recommend, decentralized generation, such that there are parts of this country which are very far off from the grid. And when you transmit power from Masinga towards a far off distance, you lose maybe even close to 16% of it along the way, but someone has to pay for what you generated. So if you have to distribute and generate power across the country so that there's minimal transmission, and also encourage local investors and create an enabling environment, because if you wanted to generate power, this technical team is here in this country. The number of permits we have to get is mind-boggling. You have to go through a rigorous approval right from the ministry, IPRA, and all those other related agencies, and then go to issues of land registry and all that. You have to have a strong heart and get determined to go. So if it could be reduced, at one time it was being thought of, can we have a one-stop shop for energy investors? A one-stop shop where you can go and say, now if it is IPRA, I want to produce this and this is the area I want to cover. Can you tick on the boxes and get all the papers you want from, other than moving from there, you go there, and then you wait. You wait for too long. And sometimes it is working, but it takes long to bring. But decentralized generation, decentralized. If you go to Garissa, you put that 50 megawatt plant, put there. Go to, there are a lot of potential on the other sides of the country, Kerio Valley and all that. Try to distribute and then give the incentives.
What type of power are you talking about? Is it solar, hydro, etc.? What type of power do you suggest that we produce?
Across the board, any country that is developing has to have a mix of all the sources of power, because no single source of power is reliable alone. You need a mix to complement. Hydro, solar, wind, whatever you can generate at whatever point, you generate. But you cannot rely on one source as a supplier. The Minister of Energy, a few years ago, elected me as the chair of the technical committee of Kenya Small Hydropower Standards. I chair that committee, and the members come from IPRA, from Kenya Power, from NEMA. When you talk of deemed generation, if I sign a power purchase agreement with you, and I'm building that plant basically to supply you power, and my resources are available, and you are not taking, like what you have had on the Turkana wind power. If the wind speeds are there, and the power is available, and I build it for you, and you are not taking it, then I calculate the amount of power that I've generated and sold to you, and I call it deemed generation. So whether you took it or not, I think those power purchase agreements that are the major point of concern in this country actually revolve around that capacity charge and what you call deemed generation.
Okay, so you are aware as Kenyans, we are paying capacity or deem to these IPPs, and we have not.
Madam Chair, I'm very much aware, and I pay for electricity. I don't like it, but I pay for it, Chair, Madam Chair.
So you are confirming that most of these IPPs are paid by our own government, something called capacity charges and deem charges.
Madam Chair, being in the energy sector, I know that happens, but I'll put a rider. The most important thing when anybody is putting up a plant, they have to make sure that those plants remain viable, economically viable, and therefore in the contract, they have to ensure that in the event COVID came and no power was taken from their plant at all, and they have staff, and they have got bank loans to service, they have got their security to maintain, they have to inbuild into those contracts what I might call reasonable, I don't know how much it is, to make sure that those projects remain viable and fulfill their mandate.
So you are confirming to this committee